Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this special live stream tonight, where we are gonna have a chat with none other than Wolf7 and talk about his journey. And then we will be listening to some of the songs from his new album, Home. Wolf is a phenomenal guitarist. I came across Wolf a couple of years ago, and it blew my mind. First time I heard him, and what you were just listening to was him soloing on the beat from my song The Pull. And he was the first one to send me something on when I put that beat out, and I was just like, I was completely hooked. Shout out to everyone who's pulled up. Sorry I couldn't be active in the chat before I went live because I was talking to Wolf backstage. We were going through some doing some tests just to see everything run smoothly. Tonight I am using a different software, so there might be some glitches here and there, but hopefully we will get through this without any issues. Wolf won't be able to see my screen. He won't be able to, well, he might be able to see my screen, but he won't be able to hear the music that I'm playing just because of the way the sources work in this. But it should be fun. And please throw in a 1 in the chat if you can hear me properly and there's no issues. And as soon as I bring Wolf on, please let me know. 1 means you can hear Wolf, everything sounds good. 2 means it doesn't. If a few people hit 1, that's enough. You don't have to, everyone doesn't have to hit 1. But yeah, I think, yes, one last thing. The audience can ask questions if they have any to Wolf. Just put them in all caps. Tag myself, tag Independent Men United, tag Snooks, and they will let me know on Discord, I think, what questions you guys have. And given if we have time and everything, I'll try and accommodate as many as I can. Without further ado, I'm gonna bring my main man, Wolf7 Music. There he is. We are live. Hey Wolf, how's it going, brother?
What's up? How you doing, man? How's everybody doing?
Everything's good. I just want to do a quick sound check. Everyone can hear Wolf? Please let me know.
Hear me?
Yeah, please throw in a 1 if you can. 2 if you can't. Let me
1.5 if you're not sure.
Yeah, 1.5 if Okay. All right, 1. There we go.
All right.
How you doing, brother?
Truthfully, I am exhausted. However, I am like really, really stoked for this. It's been a long time since I've really done anything like this. Not for lack of opportunity. We've, like you and I have spoken privately. I've gotten real picky about who I associate with and how deeply involved I get. But I was more than happy to come talk with you. So
thank you.
Here
I'm honored that you are here. I did mention you couldn't hear the intro because of the way the sources work, but only good words, I promise. But I was telling everyone how the first time, like when you sent me that solo for The Pull, I played it on my stream during when I started playing the submissions on my stream. I remember I even made a short out of it where I was just like completely, like I still like my neck just goes like this every time I hear your solo. So thank you for that. And all right, let's get it started. So to understand what inspired this album, Home, which we're going to talk about today, we're going to play some songs. By the way, guys, the links to stream and purchase like a physical copy for that album are going to be dropped periodically in the chat by my mods. They're also in the description, if in case anyone misses them in the chat. So, Wolf, to understand what inspired this album, I think we'll have to dig deep a bit and start with your personal journey in life. So, who is Wolf Seven, and or Michael, I should say, and what would he like to share with us? Like, growing up, school,
Um,
military.
oh man, where do you want to start?
Growing up, like, where you grew up, and
Um,
yeah,
okay, well, yeah, I had a very interesting life, as you and I have discussed privately.
yeah,
Um, I was born in Colorado,
okay,
um, and my parents were in a cult. So I was born into and raised basically in a cult. Uh, and that was not it's an interesting thing even looking back when you're in the experience as it's happening. It doesn't seem weird to you. Everybody else seems weird to you.
that's
And
true.
and then but at the same time, looking back, it's like I can't imagine how like incompetent I would have to be to have like consciously made the choice had somebody presented it to me as
That's
opposed to just growing up there,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah,
So I had a very disconnected life socially. One of the telltale signs of a cult, whether it's religious or ideological or whatever, is when you're told the other is not to be associated with, right?
yeah.
So, it was really interesting, I guess, growing up. I only went to public school through 5th grade. Uh, I think my parents kind of saw or something, either that it was getting to be too much for me because I had to deny. We didn't celebrate any holidays, like
Oh, really?
any traditional religious holiday. I take that back. The only thing that they celebrated was Passover. Um, so I had to at school, I had to basically not participate in half of the year because when you're in grade school, I mean, there's so many holidays through through the fall and
Yeah.
winter and even in the spring. It's like everything is a revolving around holidays. So so I couldn't participate in any of that stuff.
Oh shit.
And so I don't know if it's a combination of that or the hecticness of our life, because within this like veil of uh, this facade that this group of people had of these, it was a Christian based cult, and it was like horrific inside of it. I mean, I was abused physically and sexually throughout most of my childhood within this organization. Um,
Okay, sorry to hear that,
so,
bro.
well, it it sounds weird that I'm gonna say this like this, but I have dealt with this stuff and really worked through my traumas, all these things, that for me to even talk about it is very matter of fact, just because of how much I've accepted everything in my life and how I've healed and everything. So sometimes I'll say something like that and I don't even think about how impactful it might have been. So I appreciate you kind of stopping me.
No, 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 no. It's
Um,
more about, brother. Like, it's something that you like. Like, as listeners can hear it and it hits us, but you're the one who
right,
went through it. So, like, for someone like you, it takes a lot of strength to, uh, you know, internalize that, compartmentalize it, you know, accept it
right.
as, part of your life. Unfortunately, that it was, but moving on from it, you moved on from it, and that is like, kudos to you, brother. Kudos to you.
Yeah, the interesting thing to that too, or the irony, I actually didn't really deal with anything from my childhood until well after I had started learning how to deal with the stuff that I had gone through in war. So I was always carrying that stuff throughout my life up until maybe 5 years ago. 'Cause it wasn't like it really wasn't until I started dealing with all my wartime trauma that I realized I had a lot of other things that I needed to deal with. So, but kind of going, I guess, getting back to where we were at. Um, again, I only went to public school through 5th grade. At the time, I did some kind of assessment because to homeschool, you have to have some kind of state regulation over whatever. So I have to do some kind of state assessment. Well, I scored well enough. I didn't have to do sixth grade, and I could do a seventh and eighth grade, like a middle school program together in 1 year. So I finished high school through a homeschool program. Um, and I had started working when I was really young. I think even at the time, not realizing as much as I know now, I think a lot of my young independence was me getting away from the situation that I was in, even if I wasn't necessarily making those decisions consciously at the time,
Yeah.
because I was extremely independent. But I mean, when I was 16, I had my driver's license the day I could legally have my driver's license. I had a full-time job and went to school. I mean, I earned enough. I earned a living to where I could basically live on my own before I was 18. Um, so, I think a lot of that was me ensuring that I could take care of myself because I couldn't rely on the people who I'm
Yeah.
told my whole life are the only people in the world I can trust. And
100%.
they can't even take care of me. In fact, they harm me. You know what I mean? So I
Shout
think
out to
that's
you,
a lot
bro.
of
Shout out. Like, I mean,
lot of that.
that is something which is inspiring for so many people because even if we don't go through something that is exactly like the path you have been on in your life, adversity can either break you. You can let it break you, or you can buckle up and you can try and grow from there and put yourself in a situation where you never have to go through something like that ever again. And that's amazing, bro. That's very inspiring.
Yeah,
Holy
so
smokes.
there's, I think it surprises people a lot more when they find out about my pre-military life. Because I mean, and I don't think we need to do this here, but I mean, I could go into detail, and it's insanity. And like I said in the beginning, look back and think when you're going through it at the time, even as you get older and as you're a teenager and you become more aware and just more cognizant of your environment,
Yeah.
you're still kind of like, well, this is just normal.
Yeah.
It's really strange.
I know. And but at the same time, you learn that, you know what, I am capable of much more than what I've been taught that I am capable of, and I will strive. And I mean, it's an amazing story so far, man. And we've only talked about the beginning.
Right. Yeah,
So
and to be
yeah,
honest with you too, it actually might be a good time to go to the first song that you have pulled up,
let's go.
because to just we can talk more and get more specific, and I'll try to, even after this, like each time we play, I'll try to give the chat some attention. I'm really, really bad at multitasking. If I start reading chat, I'm not listening to
I'm
you, so you
I
know.
exactly no, and even today, like I apologize to my chat in the intro that I have not been able to catch up with the chat. I haven't even been able to say
Well,
hi to them because
and you've been growing. I mean, you've been having nights with a lot of people. It's tough.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I try and say hi to them in the beginning,
Yeah.
like 10 minutes before I go live, but tonight I couldn't. But that's the good thing about the people in my chat, like they understand, and they don't call me out
Right.
that, oh, you didn't say hi to
No,
me.
yeah, I mean, that's another one of the main reasons I wanted to do this with you, because I really haven't seen any of the negative things in your community that I see in almost every other one that
I
I've
know, bro. I
tried,
know,
been
and
involved in. So
yep, and the credit goes to all these amazing people that come here in my streams, and shout out to all of them. And that's why I told them if they have any questions, like put it in all caps, tag the mods, and I will try and accommodate them. But the other thing I really already like about this interview is that you are reminding me that we should play a song, because if you and I start talking, I think we're just gonna forget about playing the song.
it'll be midnight, and somebody will be like, "Hey, when are we gonna hear some of the new music?"
Exactly, just two old
Yeah.
farts sitting here talking.
So yeah, real quick. So again, we can talk more about the song specifically, different things,
Yes.
lyric, whatever. But uh, to go off of that sad story I just told of my life, which I'm laughing because I'm not a victim. That's not how I live. So to me, I can talk about it that way. But um, this is kind of, I guess this is a song. This is about all of the people trying to pretend, use my story to market themselves and things like that are, and that's just the surface level. Everything below it is that same thing. It's not real. Everything below it, they're not a musician, or they're not a this, or they're not, and it just goes deeper and deeper. That's kind of what this song is. Just
that's awesome. This is
introduction.
Perfect. That's a great introduction. This is Bums, right? That's what I'm going to play first, because I'm going chronologically as you send them to me. So we're going to start with Bums. After this, we're going to come back. We're going to talk about your life in the military, because, first of all, salute to you, and much respect from me, and I'm sure from everyone in the chat. We'll get into that after we play this one. So now I told everyone you won't be able to hear what I'm playing, but I'll tell you so that you can hit play at the same time. So you can see my screen, right, Wolf?
Yeah.
It's not? Okay. All right, let's go. This is from his album Home. This is called Bums.
Looking soft, tight and incomplete. I have the whole world bleeding. None of these
Holy smokes. Oh my god. What a song, bro. What a song. Like those breaks in the
Appreciate it.
middle, the solo, the lyrics. Amazing song. And the chat was just going crazy. I don't know if you have the stream open in a separate window with the chat. You do?
I have the chat popped out.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I
Perfect.
went back and forth between having anxiety about, do I look weird sitting still, or should I move, or is it weird to like dance to your own music?
No, it's
So
not. No, it's not. It's not at
yeah,
all. I mean, if you don't like your own music, then how do you expect others to like it, right? So
I love this song actually. It's one of
yeah,
my favorite songs.
it's amazing. Somebody asked a link for this song, guys. There's no links. These are all audio files that Wolf sent to me from his album to play on my stream. If you guys are interested in streaming this album, purchasing a physical copy, the links are being dropped by the mods Indie and Snooks in the chat.
I commented, I think yesterday, to someone who commented on my channel, the new channel that I kind of made. Just so everybody knows as well, you can go to my topic page that's auto generated by my distributor, and
Mhm.
you can listen to everything there. So anybody, if look, I know I've been in plenty of places where I didn't have a quarter for a payphone. All right, so if anyone wants to listen to this music and you don't have the money to put out, or you don't have a streaming service that available to you, you can go to my topic page. It's just Michael Lanthier, and you can hear anything that I distribute. That is all there, and you can listen for free. I think they have ads on the beginning, but
Yeah,
it's free. So
perfect. Perfect. Thank you for sharing that. Also, I wanted to give a shout out to Frank Terzo because he told me last night that he did purchase a physical copy of your CD. So shout out to Frank
yeah,
Terzo.
I really appreciate. And just, there's a few people here. I won't say anybody's name because I don't know if everybody wants to know. But there are a few people here, plus people that I just from my own following. I was actually blown away the first day how many people bought CDs. I had no idea that there would be that much interest in having like a physical copy.
Same here, man. I had no
It
idea, but
it blew my mind, dude.
yeah,
Absolutely blew my mind. The
yeah.
first one was bought within, I literally hadn't even thought I had finished loading everything, and then when I reloaded like 10 minutes later, there were already 3 sold.
Nice.
I didn't even
That's
know
awesome.
it was for sale.
You were still waiting
Yeah.
for some checks and stuff. All right.
Yeah.
Okay,
So,
perfect. Yo, that song was amazing. That was called Bums. That is track number 5 from his album.
yeah, I
Uh,
mean, I think the verses, like, I mean, there's obviously some metaphor and analogy, but I think it's pretty straightforward.
after
What I'm
what you told
saying.
us, yeah, 100%.
And and I don't normally write this, like, anything that is kind of disparaging outward. Most of my stuff is very reflective, either self-reflective or just my subjective view of something in the world. It's never really like pointed this way,
Yep.
but the way I look at it is, I'm not calling someone out. If the shoe fits, I'm sorry you don't like my song.
Exactly. I mean, if you listen to it
I
and you feel like you're being called out, then
Yeah,
it is what it is.
it is what it is.
All right. So, Wolf, or would you like me to call you Michael or Wolf?
It don't
It
matter.
doesn't
You
matter,
can
right?
call
But
me Mike, the
I've just
Wolf.
been calling you Wolf since day one, and I've been
It's
having
fine.
people throw in hashtag Wolf in the chat as
Oh,
well during my streams.
I will real quick
Yeah.
on Wolf.
Well, we're coming to that. We're coming to that later.
Oh, do you
But
want
if
to
you
get
want to
to
go
that?
now,
No, we'll wait.
like, okay.
It's your show, buddy.
All right. So my question next one was about the military, like your time in the military. Like if you want to share, where you
Yeah.
toured, like where you were deployed and everything. Like please, like I'm sure everyone would love to hear that.
Yeah. So it just kind of goes back into my childhood. Now, the organization that I was involved with and raised in, another part of their kind of dissociation was, uh there you had no like political leaning. I mean, the idea of like joining the military is absolutely ridiculous. Like, that's not.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no, yeah, absolutely. political like apathy. Just it's not our problem. We're with God, and He's going to do His thing. So nothing on earth matters, basically. So it was not like something that was encouraged, let alone tolerated in any way. But I think at it from a very young age, again, it might have been another thing of me trying to escape, maybe, because I feel like once I had been in the military for about 5 years, it seemed like I knew this was where I was going to be from young, very young. And another aspect despite the negative parts of my childhood, well, one thing I did have that was fortunate, my dad's side of the family, we're all very, very good people, my aunts and uncles and cousins. I spent a lot of time with them, but we were a very outdoors kind of people. I spent a lot of my childhood hiking and hunting and camping, and not like hiking and hunting and camping the way someone in Connecticut does, the way someone who lives very far north of you goes camping. You know what I mean? I mean, like a backpack and there's not a road or a trail and you're gone for however many weeks you can, that kind of stuff. So, I already had a lot of that aspect, I guess, of it in me, just the outdoors kind of thing.
Yep.
Not to compare camping to war, but
I know, but I know what you're saying.
It's the same gear, man.
It's the same gear.
But yeah, either way, I think it was something that I had kind of known for a long time. It was a path that I was on. I don't want to get too far into the weeds of philosophy or my own personal like spirituality and stuff, but it's I I do kind of believe that people have a nature. I'm not attributing it to any higher power, or it may just be a genetic thing, but I do believe that people vary, and there are people who have a propensity towards protecting other people. There are people who have a propensity towards healing other people.
Yep.
You have different. Again, I'm not attributing it to anything.
No, I know, but there's different degrees.
Open.
There's different degrees
Right.
of this whole protective instinct. Yep,
Right.
I totally hear you.
And I always was somebody who was trying to take care of other people before myself. Again, probably parts of the trauma of my childhood and things like that. So after 9/11, I was 18, like just turned 18 a few months prior to 9/11, as in the attack on 9/11. I'm saying that because I don't know, there could be honestly people here young enough they weren't alive even when this happened. So, and it was definitely at an age that I was at where I was just separating myself from my family and the cult that that many of them were involved in. And then this event taking place when I'm 18, I think it couldn't not make some kind of an impression on
100%.
Somebody like that. It's very bizarre to talk about too, because there are days where when it comes to my military background, there's days where I'll be having a conversation and it feels like, this is just a part of my life not long ago. And then there's times like even right now, as I kind of delve into it, it's almost like another life I lived.
Yeah.
And it's only, I'm 10 years separated, and it feels like it's a lifetime, so it's strange. But I didn't end up actually joining until 2004. So it was several years after like the initial invasion, both Afghanistan and Iraq. I had a family at that time. Another, I guess, kind of product of the environment that I was raised in is there wasn't like dating. like somebody had a daughter and somebody had a son, and you're like, okay, you guys can be married, essentially. So, I was married when I was 18. And then we had our first child within a couple of years. So I think that's why it kind of, my initial reaction right after 9/11 wasn't to immediately join, was just was, you know,
You were a
young
dad by
and
then. You were a
skinny.
dad. Yeah.
It's just, it's different, a lot more to think about. And then
Yeah.
eventually I think, it came to a point where I was just like, this is what I'm supposed to do. Like, and I think a lot of people would assume this is like maybe uh, some kind of patriotism or something like that. For me, it isn't really that. It's more I see something that is wrong, and I feel like there's a thing I can do that others can't to help that. I feel an almost like otherworldly obligation to involve myself. uh, so it was just inevitable, I think, that I was going to, join, especially once we're at war.
Yep.
Um, yeah, I went. My first deployment was uh, Iraq, 05, 07. Not that time, but that was the deployment. We got there, I think, December of 05, and then we're there, for a year. Um, and it's a very interesting year where we were in country, because it was actually for that long after the invasion, it ended up being the deadliest year for US and coalition forces since the invasion.
Yeah.
That's when they really started to get very, very sophisticated with their IEDs.
Oof.
Um, I'm being able to literally like make styrofoam molds to like the shape of like curbs and stuff, and crazy stuff, just like totally camouflage. I mean, but anyways, I'll get into the weeds. Don't let me do that on this.
No, no, it's fine. If you want to get into
No,
the weeds, go for it,
no,
man. Go
it
for it.
again, dude, will be midnight. Like, when's the next song? Um,
That's
uh, but yeah, so that was my first deployment. Definitely, I think the probably the most trauma that I carried with me throughout my career probably came out of that deployment. Um, that was one of that deployment was any. By the way, military movies are horrible, but if you enjoy them, please keep enjoying them. I can't.
yeah.
um,
I
but
know.
if you take any military movie you've seen, and whatever like over dramatized thing, some guy is freaking out and talking about my buddy this and my buddy that. That was like the things that you would see. That I mean, uh, just horrific thing. I won't get too far, but I mean horrific things beyond like just what is already horrific about two people standing in front of each other shooting at each other.
Yeah.
Far more horrific than that. Uh, that is the least of it.
I can only I can
People
only
shooting at
imagine,
me
yeah.
on that deployment was a relief from the other things
The
that
other things that
that I
could have
ended up
happened.
well, no, the things that happened that we saw, we dealt with, and we had to,
He's
just, a lot of cleaning up after things happen,
yeah.
and,
Yeah.
stuff like that. So,
Oh, it is.
um,
It's something that I've obviously only seen in movies and just read in the news, and I think because of the media and access to media, I think people at some point, like who don't join the military, but they become desensitized to the numbers. That okay, today 10
yeah.
soldiers didn't make it back, or today 15 didn't, or 20 didn't, and after a while, it just becomes numbers. But at the end of the day, it's even one is one too many. And the people who are there, even though they survive, the trauma that they carry with them is just, like I can't imagine.
Yeah, that's
Thank you for your service. Like that is,
uh, this is what I finally figured out my answer to the question I get often asked of I shouldn't say often. It used to be often. It's not as much anymore. But
mhm.
just the basic thing like why did you join? Everybody asks that. And by the way, there's hilarious videos online of guys that are like active duty guys making like TikToks of asking each other like why did you join, and then they go
Mhm.
around and give all these ridiculous they're actually funny. But I finally boiled it down to why did you join? Why did you join at a time of war? Why did you join the infantry in a time of war? My answer to that is so you don't have to. That's why I did that. So you didn't have to. So your kid didn't have to. So your dad didn't have to. So your uncle didn't have to. Because the way I saw it was I believed I was physically and mentally capable of taking the challenge on. And for me to not do something that I believed I was capable of doing is to put somebody else who isn't capable in that position. And that's not right. That's why I joined.
And I mean, shout out to Wolf and all the vets, everyone who thinks like this amazing human being, amazing individual we have on panel with us today. Just because I mean, there's not much I can add after that, Wolf. You said it so beautifully. Just you joined so that others didn't have to. That's just amazing. Which song, talking about this from your album, you think resonates with what we just talked about? I'll play that now.
Yeah, what Trap Lords? I think which you played already, right?
I played Bums.
No. You're moving on in this one. Okay,
yes.
I'm so confused. Okay, yeah, I would actually say Brazen, which right? That's
Brazen.
Pulled up, yeah.
Okay.
This isn't really that story that I kind of just told. That was more a song that we've already covered. You've already played several times on, actually, or once.
Yeah. No, but if this is something which goes with the discussion, I wanna let you make that call on which song we should play.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. This is a little. You know what? I think this one is probably gonna surprise people. So why don't we just play it and then let's actually look at the chat?
Okay, sure.
and see what people think.
Let's do that. So this is Brazen. Let's go. I think Wolf, if you were following the chat,
Yeah, I think digging it.
people were digging it, man. I loved it. So Wolf, before I forget this,
No guitar
just
solo. I'm sorry, buddy.
just for everyone in the chat. So you are a one-man band. So you do
Oh yeah,
everything. You do
we
everything. So guys,
yeah
everything
we
you heard in that was all Wolf.
yeah.
Um,
I forgot we didn't even get to that, did we?
yeah, we're gonna
That's
get
like
to it. We're gonna
that's
get to it.
sorry. Go ahead.
We're gonna get to it. I just wanted to remind everyone because like you think I'm good as a one man band. I mean, listen to this guy, and he can sing. I can't sing, as you guys know. So, uh, I
You
have
might
a
be able
shit
to.
ton of respect for this guy, and also there you go, Snooks. I was just gonna remind like people. I forgot to add Wolf's YouTube link into the links that I was gonna drop. I tagged him in the description.
Um,
Please go sub him up as well.
And I want to be clear too, just for people, because I know some people, you have different interests. My channel, my actual channel that I run now, is really only going to be for me to upload music videos. I am not a YouTuber. Um, I don't have any
Bro, we're getting
intention.
to that. Bro, we're getting to that. I have
Okay,
a lot of
all right,
questions to ask you about that.
all right. I'll slow back. I'm gonna go back down.
Because I remember seeing you live play once, I think a couple of years ago, and I almost like snapped my guitar in half. I was like, I'm done. I quit. Like this guy is too good. I can never reach this level. So we'll get to that. That is one of my questions on the list.
All right.
All right.
Okay.
So
All right.
my next question is, where does the name Wolf and Wolf 7 come from? What's the story behind that?
Oh, okay. So, I mean, it's a simple story. Is Wolf was the call sign of my detail. All right, to skip ahead in my career. Um, my last deployment, I was a protective services detail leader. What that is just if when a unit deploys, a battalion size unit or bigger, the commander, like the battalion commander, the brigade commander, so on and so forth up the chain, they're all allotted like a personal protective detail to move them around in the battle space.
Mm-hmm.
So we were in charge of the task force commander for Afghanistan. So our call sign was Wolf, so I am Wolf 7 because I was the senior non-commissioned officer out of the team lead. So it's that simple. That's why whenever anybody says, not that this happens, but I know there's a lot of people in a lot of communities that have Wolf in some way in their name,
Yep.
and I'm always I'll see people sometimes talking about it with, oh, hey, you're a wolf. Now I'm a wolf. And I'm always sitting here. Somebody asked me if you want to decide who's the wolf.
I have like
Yeah.
3 or 4 wolves that come by my
Yeah.
streams as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah. I just leave it. I stay out of those. They start talking about who the real wolf is.
Yeah. So no,
That's okay.
fortunately, the wolves that come into my stream are all like amazing wolves. I mean,
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
they're different kinds of wolves, and
Yeah.
like, but yeah, I would hate it for someone to get into like a pissing contest, especially
Oh, no.
with
No,
someone
no, no.
who's like you were given that title for a reason, so for a very big reason, so a very important reason. So yeah, I would not want to be. Good thing I don't use the title wolf for myself. I wouldn't want to get into that.
No.
Okay,
No,
so now Wolf coming a bit towards the music side. How did you get into playing music, recording, like, and guitar? Like, how did
I
that musical journey start?
I started playing guitar really young. I think I ascribe it to I was around 8, but I may have been a little older, but I was it's definitely somewhere in that range, 8, 10, 11, something in there.
Wow.
I it's this is gonna sound weird maybe, but my memory is really bad just because of psychological trauma and physical traumas. My memory is kind of messed up, but also when I was a kid, because of the chaotic nature of my life, we moved constantly. Like we lived in a new place like in the same area, but like in a new house, and my parents were constantly separating, getting back together. So I was always moving around. So I kind of keep timelines in track by remembering what house I was in. So I'm thinking I was around that age probably. But either way, I loved music. I always remember loving music. I don't know why, what the connection was or the escape was or whatever, but I always remember loving music and I wanted to play guitar. Uh like I listened to everything even at a young age. I listened to very old music, I listened to modern music, I listened to basically any genre of music, even at a very young age. But what always beckoned me was Jimi Hendrix.
Jimi Hendrix. Okay.
Yeah, Jimi Hendrix is why I play right now. I'm not saying he's my biggest influence. I'm not saying I try to play like him or anything like that.
Yeah.
I'm not assigning him any grading of skill. I just
No, no, of course.
he's why I play, and that will always be my answer.
That's actually sorry to interject because I was having this conversation with Hetriani, who's another amazing guitarist, by the way. And
very, very amazing guitar.
Very amazing, right? And we were having this conversation, and I told him that one of my influences is like apart from Gilmore, one of my influences is Buckethead. And I feel weird even saying that because if I say to someone that my influence is Buckethead, but then they hear me play, they're like, bro, you're like 1/100th of the speed of Buckethead. But it's not about that. It's more about the reason that these people are the reasons why we picked up the guitar. So it's really good you clarified that because that clarifies something that I've always wanted to say as well. Okay, so your first guitar that was an acoustic, I'm assuming. So you were just sitting there. No. Oh, so you went straight to the electric first, my man.
This is my first guitar, and this is the guitar I still play every day and record with.
Which one is that? The lighting is a bit.
It's a Fender Stratocaster.
Oh, could you just? Oh, okay. I see it now. There you go. Okay, so it's a Fender Strat.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. And I mean, I've owned, and I have an acoustic Washburn. A lot of people are surprised when they find this out, especially because I am a one-person instrumentalist that does everything. I'm not a gear guy at all. I could give two shits. I could honestly give two shits. And look, this is a weird parallel, but I was the same way in the military. If you can pick up a rifle and it has a laser and a 4-power optic on it, I really don't care. Can you pick up an AK-47 that is covered in mud with iron sights and shoot something? And I'm the same way with music. If you can take a guitar that I've dropped this, I can't even tell you how many times, this Strat. My Washburn, my acoustic I record with, it's like literally falling apart because it's been dropped. But my opinion is if I can't pick up that and do what I want with it and make the sounds I want, why am I going to cloud it up with a bunch of fancy shit? It's 100%. Not my thing. It's just not my thing. And nothing against anybody I know most of my musician friends are total gearheads.
Yep.
And I totally get it.
Yep.
I especially get like the vintage gearheads that really want an amp that only sounds like that amp. You can't even, you know what I'm saying? I get it. It's just not my thing. I have, in fact, my multi, I don't even have pedals. I have a multi-effects pedal for my guitar. And it's a 12-year-old Boss ME70 that I've probably got on sale at Guitar Center. I'm just not a gear guy.
It's crazy how much I can relate to you. I wish I could play like you as well, but that's a different topic. But it's amazing how like similar we are in that regard. I'm not a gearhead at all. Plus, I started so late. I couldn't go through that whole thing. I just wanted to pick up the guitar and learn how to play it rather than get into all this other stuff. But for me as well, like people get into these gear conversations, and it's good. It's very good knowledge. It's because of people like those that when we go on Google and we have a question, we ask a question and we get the answer because of people like them. But I'm not a gearhead either, just like that. So okay, so that's interesting. So Wolf does.
Yeah, I'm still playing the same guitar.
Still playing the same. Fuck, man, that's amazing. That's amazing. Okay, that's an eye opener. I thought you would have like 10 guitars
No,
and like
man, here, I'll show you. Hold on.
the the beautiful MIDI keyboard.
That's
Yeah,
it. That's it.
that's it. Yeah, same with me. Same with me. I have something similar, smaller.
I can't even. I have to do my drum tracks. I have to do double because I only have an 8-pad kit.
Oh man, that hits me hard. I totally get what
Yeah,
you're saying.
I have to do like my cymbals and my kick like on one track and then everything else on the other one because because most of my drum stuff is traditional rock, so I need like a 10-piece set.
Yep, 100%. Yeah, same with mine. My tracks, drum tracks are like this much, and then when I open the DAW and the audio file is loading, my computer takes so much more long
Yeah.
because it's a pain in the ass. Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Time for a song. So, do you? Well, you know which one is my favorite.
Let me.
Yes, go ahead.
So Brazen, just a quick synopsis.
Yes.
Brazen isn't as brazen as it sounds. Brazen is just, I don't care. I accept what I am, where I am, and what I can't control. That's all it is. It's not fuck everything. It's I'm okay if everything's fucked. That's what Brazen is.
Okay. Wolf, there is a question here. The other questions you pretty much answered who your influence is, and
we can talk more. I think we can do it whenever you want, but we should talk more because you brought up Buckethead, and then we were talking about I'll give you my list.
Oh yes,
right,
please.
Let's do that. We do the question first. Let's do the question first.
Okay, so this question is by Frank Terzo. He says, "You state in your description, my passion for music has single-handedly been the most mentally freeing undertaking in my search for relief from the pain." Would love to hear you talk on that, brother.
Okay, so in November 23? So 2020? Okay, November 2020, I at that point was drinking to like blackout drunk daily for about a year and a half, maybe 2 years. And then even prior to that, I was a heavy drinker all the way back into right after my first deployment, pretty much. So in November of 2020, I had gotten to a point with just my depression and just dealing with my symptoms, and then my drinking, was just tearing me down so far every day. I ended up in a position where I thought I wanted to take my own life. And this isn't the first time I've been in that position. I've actually been hospitalized 3 times, voluntarily hospitalized, but hospitalized nonetheless, for the same thing. But this last one, I went into the experience when you go into the facility after this, they usually end up being in there from anywhere like 5 to 10, 12 days, 2 weeks or whatever. They basically want to make sure you're set up afterwards for, having some kind of a plan with healthcare to have therapy and stuff like that. So, and by this point in time, I'd already been through so much therapy. I was medically retired, to be clear with everyone, from the military. And part of my medical retirement is for post-traumatic stress. So when I was getting out, they actually had really good programs in place or they did at the time, of transitioning guys like me out. So, they make sure all my stuff is set up and my retirement pay is all ready to go as soon as, my last day and all, and then they help you find work and things like that. And I just totally lost track, and you're gonna have to back me up and tell me where I'm going.
Yeah. No, it was more like
the sobriety. Okay,
yeah.
so all right, so I went through a long program. It was actually a 4-month intensive outpatient program. mostly like group therapy and stuff like that at the time. And then since then, and getting out, I've used therapists and counselors and stuff like that multiple different times. So when I went into the hospital this last time, and I don't mean it to sound as arrogant as it sounds, but many of the staff in there, I could teach them more about psychology than they know, just from being on the other side of dealing with what I'm dealing with and all the therapy and everything. So I knew that it wasn't like this eye-opening thing to me anymore to wake up sober and realize you either tried to or threatened to try to hurt yourself, and you wake up and that didn't even shock me anymore because that had happened to me in my life several times. And what I really started to figure out though was that something had to happen, whether it was me taking my life or figuring out how to not be miserable or whatever the case may be. And I just realized I know it's been the booze. I know it is. I've always known that. I've known it for 10 years. It was the booze.
Yep.
Um, and so I stopped drinking November 16th, 2020 is the last day I've had a drink. And what I had to do was find something to occupy that time, because for me, it was after work. Get home as fast as I can and get that first thing open
Yep.
and down my throat. And I had to have something to fill that time. Okay, forget the physiological effect,
Yep.
the actual drinking it. I needed a thing to do. And I was like, well, I've kind of let go of music in the last few years and just not really even been playing for fun or anything. I was like, you know what? Let me see how hard it is to just record myself playing. And then let me see how hard it is to, like, how do people get people to hear their music? I don't
Yep.
know. Oh, you do this and then they put it on Spotify. Okay, cool. And so that's what I started doing.
So you started doing this like during COVID,
Yeah,
because
yeah, well, COVID did not affect me the way it did you. I worked in construction and nobody gave a shit if we worked.
no, but my point is this is very recent that you started recording
Oh
music.
yeah,
Before
yeah.
this, you weren't recording music. You were just
No,
what the.
no, I've never
Okay, so
recorded before.
I think I'm going back into the same mindset, Wolf, as I was when I heard you the first time. That like time to sell the guitar, move on to other things because
Now, I had played music though. You gotta realize, despite not having ever done recording, I'd played in bands. Like even my time in the military, at one point, we had a small little band that we played. That was just in the unit that I was in and stuff. So I mean, it wasn't like I wasn't playing
no,
music.
but even Wolf, like I have to give credit where it's due. Even though you were playing, recording music is a whole other beast, and we will get into that at some point because I have that as one of my questions for you. Um, but recording music is a whole different ball game, like than just being a good player. Like I know a lot of musicians, a lot of guitarists who are amazing, but they, their mix game and mastering game and recording and everything is like they're lacking in it, and because of that, uh, they're not able to reach as far or wide of an audience as they would if they, perfected that. So
Right.
that's amazing that you
Well,
learned this.
I had to put basically I had to put the same amount of effort. Excuse me. I had to put the same amount of effort that I put into making sure that I had a job still and enough money to drink every night. I had to put that kind of effort into learning how to do it. And
I
trust
know.
me, that's a lot of effort.
That is, I can only imagine, man. Wow. Okay. Um. Holy shit. Okay, my next question is gonna be after the next song. Your call, or should I choose? Because I really feel like playing my favorite song from your album. I've played it before on my stream from your topic
You
page.
let me if you're gonna do it though, I gotta pull it up on mine.
You know which one I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, yep. Let me
Hmm.
drop it in here.
Like You Mean It is the next one. Shout out to the people who just dropped into the chat and everyone who's been here. Puukie, Coda, Joey, Cherokee Mammy, Devoid, Falcro, Andy, Doug, Midkiff, Paintmaster, Frank Torres the Legend, Mamsy Graham, my brother. How's it going? How's it going? Thank you for being here. Hetriani's here. Mrs. Hetriani was here too. I saw that name, but I couldn't say hi because we were in the middle of a conversation. But thank you everyone for being here. I hope you're enjoying this. You know, even though I'm no Jade Star when it comes to interviews, but I'm trying, and it's so easy to do it with someone as interesting as Wolf. That makes it better and easier.
I think you're doing fine, my friend.
Right. Like You Mean It is up next then, Wolf. You got it loaded?
I'm ready.
Guys, this is my favorite song from the album, but that's like obviously, you know, I'm not saying the rest of the songs aren't great. It's just this song just does something to me. Why it does it? You will find out. Let's go. This is called Like You Mean It. Dang, I am left speechless every time the song plays. Every time. Holy smokes.
I'm
Wolf
glad you
bro.
like it.
Bro, please tell us a bit more about this song.
This all started with uh I wanted to write something. Well, to be clear, most of my music starts with me just fiddling around with the guitar. Whether it's going to end up being an instrumental or it's going to end up being something I write lyrics for, who knows? Um, Actually, I'll give you a real interesting thing. Every time you see like the first picture I'll put on Instagram with like a notepad of the song titles
Yeah.
written, you know how much work I've put into that album? I wrote the song titles on a notepad, and then I took a picture and put it on Instagram. I often have a concept and don't even have any idea where I'm going, but I know what I wanna call it
No. Okay.
and then go. And the same thing, like, I just noodle around with the guitar when I have time, and every once in a while, something just feels like, "Ooh, this is good. This'll be something." I Going back to influences, Jimi Hendrix being the most important of my influences and made me start playing guitar. I really didn't feel like I had made a song where the guitar, like the main whatever you want to call it, the melodic rhythm slash whatever guitar,
Yeah.
had a feeling of his influence in it. I really which I mean, I've released so much music, it's hard to say. I might actually listen to something and be like, "Oh, no, it's in here." But either way, when I came across this song and this idea, that's what I felt like I hadn't really paid tribute to him yet. Which is that main, like that intro
Yep.
kind of riff is, to me, that's Jimi Hendrix.
Yep.
I
I
intentionally I'm sure especially the real like a guy like Hetriani, who's an extremely technical player, he can probably hear it. I intentionally am off time in places in my notes in that intro
Yep.
because I'm playing Jimi Hendrix. I'm not playing what I wrote. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it absolutely does, and you know why it makes sense? Because Hetriani, good thing you brought his name up because he is the one who pointed that out for me on one of my solos as well. That I like how you're off beat a little bit, slightly.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I never used to notice that type of stuff.
Yeah,
So I totally get it.
I do that sometimes in unintentionally too in some of my music, but either way, that's kind of where this started, was with that. Now the the rest of the song, I just start kind of building stuff around it. Um when I heard the guitar part, I immediately this is actually one of the few songs. Oh, and just so everybody knows too, I like most of the first 50 singles or something I released are all instrumental. I hadn't sung in like 14 or 15 years.
Yes, I didn't. I never heard you sing on your
Right.
earlier works.
Yeah,
Yep.
I think again, it's probably anywhere between the first 30 and 50 somewhere is when I started doing vocal stuff. And by the way, I have a couple songs that are absolutely embarrassing. The vocal to me, and I'm being honest. It's like, and they're out there, like they're on Spotify. You can hear them because I'm not. I don't know. I feel like
That's part of your journey.
part of the journey.
Exactly.
So, I mean, there's a couple of my songs I butchered the vocals on, and I thought at the time, "Oh, no, it sounds pretty good." So, I kind of had to relearn how
Yep.
to sing too,
Nice.
just like as I was learning how to mix and engineer and all that kind of stuff. I had to kind of get my confidence back and realize that I have a good voice. I haven't used it in a long time.
Yep. You have a great
A-
voice. Great
And
voice.
uh and for some reason, this is one of the only songs where when I played that main kind of melodic rhythm, I just sang that chorus. I didn't write anything. I didn't think about it. I literally was playing and it was just like, just say it. Just, I don't know. It just, the chorus worked. And
Amazing.
then And then I thought, well, what does that mean? Just say it like you mean it, and then so on and so forth. Like, what does that mean? Okay. So I actually, the whole thing is actually like a science fiction story.
Oh,
It's
really?
it's a guy who's okay. Sometime in the future, we have intergalactic travel. Okay, well, the technology is you are in some kind of hibernation. Okay, well, they haven't advanced enough yet to just put someone in full hibernation. They have to keep part of the mind still active. So you're in like a virtual reality for however
Mm-hmm.
many years you're in hibernation. So people get so attached to the people in their virtual reality that they don't want to be in reality anymore. So, and even though they consciously know that there is a difference, they don't care. So just say it like you mean it. It doesn't matter if it's
Doesn't
real.
matter.
Just say it.
Oh man,
So
that's
that's the
deep.
story of the song.
That's deep. That's deep because I think in a few years that won't be science fiction anymore. That
Right,
will be
right.
reality. The way we're going, right? And that's okay. I had no idea that is how deep that was.
Yeah,
That's
I
amazing.
think a lot of people here, especially just because of the overall feel and progression, maybe it's almost kind of about a relationship or this. It is, but not the one you think it is. Not mine.
Somebody mentioned Stevie Ray Vaughan in the chat as well when they heard that song.
Yeah, Stevie's another big one. When I started, he would have been like if Jimi Hendrix didn't live, he never existed, then that would have been the next one that got me to play. When I got my guitar, the first tablatures I bought, which by the way, absolutely ridiculous. I don't want anybody to think I'm like some virtuoso. I am not. But the first tablature books I bought were like Jimi Hendrix. Uh, I can't remember. I bought like all like 3 albums of tablature from Jimi Hendrix and like 3 from Stevie Ray Vaughan, as if, and I'd never played guitar.
But you just bought them
So
because
so that's what I started trying to play
that's
right out
amazing.
the gate. And by the way, again, I did not play it. I
Thank you,
just
Andy. Thank you, Andy, for the super chat. I appreciate it. Okay, so then it's pretty amazing that Hendrix and Stevie Ray Vaughan's name came up in the chat while that song was playing. So I mean,
yeah, well, and Stevie, I think, gave a lot of tribute. Even though he was pure blues,
yep,
I think he still gave a lot of tribute to
yep,
Hendrix and
absolutely,
his play style. So,
yep,
and really, like, I mean, I do like one of my favorite things to play for fun or for people is Little Wing, but
yep, and his
I play much more a la Stevie Ray than I do Jimi Hendrix when I play that song. I
I
feel it's more
I
free.
I honestly
It
listen to
flows.
Stevie's version only when I listen to
Yeah,
Little Wing.
yeah.
That's okay.
It's a sad thing. It's one of those I feel like there's a lot of songs even in that era. They're some of the probably best, most important pieces of work ever written,
Yeah,
but they might not have gotten the attention or the technology wasn't there or something to give it what it really means because Little Wing is one of the greatest songs ever written.
yep, 100%.
Of any genre, fucking Mozart, Beethoven, I don't care. I'm
Yeah,
serious.
yep,
Little Wing is one of the best composed pieces of music that's ever been
yeah,
written. So,
totally agree.
but again, I'd rather hear Stevie Ray play it.
Yeah, I
And
know.
Jimi Hendrix, I favor as a guitar player. You know,
Yeah.
it's weird.
Yeah. I mean, Hendrix, what he did with All Along the Watchtower, he just completely made that song his own. Like,
Yeah,
I can't remember the last time I heard Bob Dylan's version of it. I only listened to Hendrix's version
yeah,
of it.
yeah.
Um, okay, who else other than these two? Like, were there any other major influences who you want to
I mean,
list?
that was my early influence with starting was that. I mean, I listen to because I love to play anything. I was excited to be like I started playing in bands when I was really young, and I was always the kid. A lot of the bands I played in were actually like young or middle-aged adults, and I was the child, which was fun in a lot of ways. I got into a lot of places I shouldn't be and stuff like that, um, and it was fun. But so I would play anything, but, Jimmy and Stevie were just like that was just what I wanted to do all the time. And then I very, very soon after found the real the real deal, Eric Johnson.
Mhm.
He's the greatest. He's
Yeah,
whatever my opinion's worth, Eric Johnson
yeah,
is the greatest living guitar player.
I've seen a lot of videos on Eric Johnson from a lot of people, and like amongst the greatest names come like Jeff Beck. Jeff Beck, because of his style of playing, it was very difficult to even mimic Jeff Beck's style. But
Yeah.
Eric Johnson is another name that comes up all
Yeah.
the time
Well,
as being the greatest.
and I like when I think of good, because Buckethead or Brian Carroll, he's in my list.
Yep.
But people, it's like you were pointing out earlier when you were talking about with Brian Carroll. I don't my like who I like isn't all for the same reason. All right.
Yep.
Eric Johnson, I think, composes. Yeah, I mean, Eric Johnson invented techniques on the guitar that didn't exist. It, in in the 80s, like, the guitar had been around long enough for basically everyone to be able to figure out everything you could possibly do with the guitar, other than the crazy things I see now with people with, like, a 16-string
Yeah.
fucking guitars playing, like, however many octave C
I
flat,
know.
I
I
can't
see
even
that. I don't get impressed by it. It's just another
no,
gimmick. I mean,
gimmick,
sure, but yeah.
but Um, so a guy who's literally inventing techniques not out of flash and gimmick, inventing techniques so he can play things that no one else could play
Yeah.
before.
Yeah.
That's a different thing. See, I'm not into the flashy crap either. I'd
Yeah.
be on it. People might be upset at this. I am not a Steve Vai, a Satriani, I am not a Van Halen guy. It's not me. And I don't want to offend anybody.
No, no. It's.
I'm
I
not
mean, that's your taste.
I don't
That's
mean to be disparaging. Well, I don't like to hate on other people's art because
yeah.
they do their thing for a reason and they are successful doing it. I don't
Yeah.
want it to be
Yeah.
like I am hating on them. But to me, those guys are. I'm not.
Yeah. It's
It's
not
not
something
my.
that resonates with you.
No, it
And
doesn't resonate with
yeah.
me in any way. Um, and frankly, I'll just say it: Eddie Van Halen, most overrated of all time.
Oh shit.
I put it out there. It's a lot of gimmick. It's a lot of gimmick, and it's anyway.
I see. So
Sorry.
the thing with me is because I'm not technically sound enough to know anyone if they are technically sound or not. For me, like as most of the people know, like for me, my favorite is David Gilmour, and I
Yeah,
mean,
but again,
so many people can play like David Gilmour. It's not about technically he was the most like amazing guitarist that nobody could even mimic what he did. But it's
right?
more for me. It's always been about feel and melody and all that stuff, right?
Yeah. Well, that's
I do wish I had speed, like people like players like yourself, Hetriani, but for me, it's always like speed plus melody and feel. Oh, that is like the
right.
super combo for me.
It's like, ironically, one of the bigger and first interviews I ever did with someone when they were asking me about guitar playing and like the technical, like my preferences and everything. And I always said this though, like Jimi Hendrix or a guy like Gilmore, or plenty of guys, but obviously those two are standouts. They could play a single note
Yeah.
and make me feel more than watching that guy with a 16 string fucking guitar play every single fret and every note somehow in about 27 seconds.
Yeah.
I didn't feel it.
Yeah.
But
I
those guys
completely.
can bend a single note
Yeah.
and change how you feel.
Exactly.
So for me, it's not always about technical versus not. Brian Carroll, Buckethead, probably one of the greatest technical players of all time.
Yeah.
Eric Johnson, also incredibly, almost perfect technically,
Yeah.
but also a very melodic player who
Yeah.
can do both. He can shred, and then he can play the blues, and then he can play bluegrass, and then so it's just to each their own.
Yeah. Absolutely. 100%. And that's why music is a beautiful thing because different people, it hits them differently. And if we all listen to the same thing, then life would be boring, right?
Yeah.
All
Exactly.
right. Next question, and then we'll go to the next song. So full-time work, Wolf, and I think you've answered part of this already, but your full-time work, dad, musician, I can relate with you on so many things. Once you get home now, other than obviously what you talked about, because you needed something to do once you got home, other than going down that spiral.
Right.
What motivates you to make music? And put it out there and sharing it with everyone.
Um, I mean, it's
Or
just
as you said, what gives you the energy to do it? Because after work and
okay, that
family
makes
and
sense.
everything, like it's
It's
really.
like everything else. It's just like when you said, like you didn't know that I had never recorded before. So how did I do it? It's because this is just what I'm doing. It's what I'm doing.
And you're
It
having a
doesn't
great time.
matter.
And you're
Yeah,
having a
it
great
does.
time, right?
Yeah, I'm I'm at a place in my life where I look at things that I look at every. Sorry, I look at things this way. How you do anything is how you do everything. If I'm not gonna make time, it's just like, I think we talked about my schedule before. I get up at
Yeah.
3 in the morning. I work out for an hour, and I commute 2 hours to work, and then I work 10 hours. Sometimes I'm a superintendent and a project manager for a construction company, so my day is however long my day is. It's not as I'm salary. I get home sometimes at 9 o'clock at night, and those nights when I get home at 9 o'clock at night, the next day I get up at 3 a.m. because that's just what I do.
Yeah.
I don't I just don't have time anymore in my life to halfway in, halfway out things, and I'm not gonna waste time halfway doing something because if I'm gonna half-ass something, that half-ass time would be better spent on my kids or something else where I could take that time. So, yeah, I make the time. I make it work. I do what I have to do. Um, Anything you wanna do in your life, no matter what is going on, is just consistency, discipline of consistency. You don't even have to do anything right. You don't have to do anything well. You don't have to do anything more than 60 seconds. But if every day you have that consistent moment, well, whatever it is, whether it's I have to wake up at 3 a.m., it doesn't matter if I slept for 2 hours and I have 4 more days of work. I have to get up at 3 a.m. and work out because that's what I do.
Yeah.
It, it, even if it's a small thing, tomorrow I won't do this or I will do that, whatever. But then you do that every day again, even if you're failing constantly, even if it's the smallest, most minute change in your life. That's how you become what you wanna be. That's how you get where you wanna go. That's
100%.
why I that's why I can do this, work the job that I do, and also on top of that, I run a security detail for an actual large musical artist. So and I can't get into details at all,
Yeah.
so please don't ask me any
No, no,
questions,
I
but I
won't. I
can
won't.
say it's only it's only a handful of times a year, so it's not like something that I'm constantly doing. But so, but either way, my point is anytime people ask me, it's like, well, how do you have time? Well, this is what I'll say to people too. If anything I talk about with like how I do things, if you say to yourself, I don't have time, I don't have time, I want you to look at your phone and find in the settings where it shows how long you're looking at your phone each day. Because every single second that it shows on that phone is a second you could have taken a second step forward towards something you actually need to be doing in your life or you want in your life. I'm telling
Absolutely.
you, it's that is you would be, your mind will be blown
Yep.
when you see your screen time on your phone. It will blow your
100%.
mind. And especially if you just made a statement like, I don't have time to go to the gym, or I don't have time to do this. I don't have time to do that. You look at that thing, you will be surprised.
Absolutely. And discipline, perseverance. I mean, it's not an easy thing, but nothing good in life
Yeah.
is easy to get. And
And once you start rolling, you just get better and better at these things. Like okay, like today, right? The perfect example. We do this at 9 o'clock. I set up my day and made sure that I got home earlier than I normally do, and I
yeah,
took a nap.
nice.
And that
Yeah,
way, I'm not gonna because I would have done it even if I hadn't taken a nap, but I didn't want to come to this and disrespect you or disrespect your community by being a zombie half awake, even though the average person might very easily and willingly say that. That they're the victim because their day was long and they
yeah,
have their long day tomorrow. I will never be a victim of anything. I am in control of my life. I'm in control of my thoughts. I'm in control of my emotions. And nothing that ever happens to me, I am a victim of. I am just a bystander. I don't have time to think that way.
That's you guys heard it. I mean, if that doesn't motivate you to, you know, shift your focus, if you really want something, discipline is obviously number one. And there's pockets of time that we sometimes just waste where we could have just used and learned a new skill or whatever. Like a lot of people that used to ask me, like, where did you find the time to learn the guitar? Like, how did you learn it during, like with work and kids and everything? And I just told them, man, like I had to give up other things which I was wasting time on. Like I used to be up to date on Netflix on every show and everything, and I think I've only watched like 2 shows in like the last 2 years. And that too because it was the last season. I'd already watched the previous season. I wanted to finish it, so I did it. But I did it on the train to work, not at home.
Yeah,
because I wasn't doing anything else there. So but it's have to really.
That's how I use my commute. Because my commute only about 20 minutes of it is in the car, and then the rest is public transportation.
Yeah.
So and the same thing. I get questions about that. It's like, how the hell do you put up with that? I'm like, that's some of the best times of my day. That's my time.
100%. That's what I say. I love it.
Time. Nobody's bothering me. If I want,
yeah.
Anybody could call me or text me. I can ignore them. I can tell them that the service was out or I was asleep, and then they can't do anything about it. Whether it's my boss or my family, that's my time. And I'll listen to books. I like to listen to a lot of books on tape and podcasts, or just listen to music. Yeah, exactly. You can you have time too that you can watch Netflix while you run on the treadmill.
Yeah. Or if you just need your me time, like on the train, like I now after COVID, because my routine is 3 days work from home and then 2 days in the office, and I go on Fridays and Wednesdays. So tomorrow I have to go, and then on Friday I have to go. But I'm usually streaming on Thursday night, so I sleep late and then I wake up early. However, I wasn't waking up early for the rest of the 3 days in the week, so my routine just goes off, and I'm not used to it. And I complain about waking up early. I'm just not a morning person, but that I would not prefer to wake up in the morning, but I have to, so I do it. But once I'm in the train, like that is like me time. Sometimes I don't even watch anything. I'm just like sitting there like this looking out the window. Just you need that as well.
Just living.
Just living, exactly. All right, let's go to our exactly. Yeah, you don't need a screen all the time in front of you. I completely agree. All right, next song, Breather. You want to tell us something before we play it or after?
It'll make sense.
All right. Fair enough.
I mean, it should make sense.
All right, let's go. This is Breather. Wow, man. Wow. I was in the train just looking out the window and that was playing for me in the background. Oh my god, I love that song. I loved it. And I love how the guitar is always the main focus in your music because, that's what I love. Oh man, Wolf, you're something else, bro. There's a question for you
Appreciate it.
by Development of a Void, who's also like a freaking phenomenal guitarist, by the
Yeah,
way.
I just recently started following.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
freaking nuts. He says, Wolf, what string gauge do you use and how high is the action?
Generally, I use a very lighter gauge, like a 8 or smaller. But I like every now and then I like to go real heavy because if you don't know, that's how part of SRV's sound was from a super super heavy gauge string. It's also why he played everything dropped down half a step, so it made it easier to bend them because I think he played something crazy like 14s or something.
Oh shit!
Like, yeah, like that's a lot of the sound, but I usually play a lot lighter gauge.
All
I
right.
don't know.
Hope that answers the question.
Again,
DOA.
this is gonna sound really weird to people. Sometimes I buy strings, I don't even look at what they are. I just play. I look, you know what? Let me, if you don't mind for a moment.
No, no, go for it.
Okay, music to me has I don't music to me isn't math. Music to me is just what I feel. I don't think that far into things with any of it. I don't again, it's like with the gear. I could have a different sound with a different guitar and to a different preamp and this and that and all that. I don't care. I just don't. Eh, if I you know how often I change strings? If I break one. That I'm
I'm the
serious.
same. I'm the same, Wolf. I can so relate to that.
I change strings when I break a string.
Yeah,
And the only reason I change all of them is just because it's easier and cheaper to buy a pack.
pack. Yeah, then individual strings. Like it just makes sense.
Yeah.
100%. I'm the same
I
way.
and this'll maybe I should save this towards the do you want a large revelation right now, or should we wait till later? It's
Go for it.
nothing crazy.
We're in the momentum. Let's keep it going. Go for it.
Almost every guitar solo that I have released on all my music, almost all of them are first, second, or third take improvisation.
That's amazing, man.
I do not write though like that. There's obviously again there are exceptions. All right, there are exceptions. There are solos that I completely compose from start to finish, but I don't even like those. I don't like playing them. I don't like how they sound. They're technically far more adept, but I just like to play what I feel when I'm hearing something right then and there. That's it. That's what I
Yeah.
like to do.
Yeah. And then once you start it, then wherever you go, that is a solo,
Yeah,
right? Yeah,
yeah,
100%. I can totally relate because I do the same. There's only a few parts where I hit certain thing and I'm like, you know what, that sounded good, but I
yeah.
think but I think I already played this riff 5 songs ago, so I should change this a little bit, and then maybe instead of hitting this, I should hit this. That is the only part of my
Yeah,
composition of a solo. Like I
yeah.
can't even remember most of them.
I I've never played that, and the if I play something that is very technical or that I wrote and actually composed, it's actually way harder for me to play it too. There are things where there's been times where I've played something that I recorded and it was literally like a one take improvisational solo, and then I found myself in a position I had to play it, and then I realized something then too. I learned how to play it listening to it 10 times faster than I would have if it was something I wrote.
Yeah.
Because as soon as I started getting into it, I was like, "Oh, yeah, my body remembers that I did this."
Yes.
So but this kind of thing, believe it or not, you may not have seen this. This divides guitar communities. The idea of improvisational soloing for recordings.
Really?
Oh, it divides communities, my friend.
That's
Yes,
interesting.
there are people who would say they would disparage it. They would say, "Well, possibly you don't know how to write it, or you play that way so you don't ever have to play the same thing the same way twice." There's a lot of ways that
Well,
it can
I
be
mean, there's a
looked
lot
at
of gatekeepers.
negatively.
There's a lot of
Yeah,
gatekeepers out there,
exactly.
right? Everything is being like, "Oh, you didn't do this according to this standard," and
Exactly.
like,
And for me, it's the same thing as everything else. It's the gear, it's the everything. I don't care. I like it. This is
yeah,
how I feel about that's what I feel the most with music. And to be clear too, part of what this is for me, music, especially playing, when I get to that place where I just described where I'm not thinking, I'm just doing it and
yeah,
just feeling it, it's just happening. This is the only true relief I get, like complete relief from my mind. It's not
100%.
just the injuries. It's my mind. I'm doing math right now over here for fun. I have this weird philosophical thing that presented itself to me today over here. I'm in here in this conversation. It's not just about like and depression, anxiety, things like that. I am constantly solving for X for
Yeah,
no reason
yeah.
and like multiple different ways in different places. So for
But
me
when
to
you
shut all of that off
exactly,
is to hear a track, get my guitar, have no idea what I'm going to play. Maybe I don't even know quite what key I'm in yet.
yeah,
And then I just start going. That's it. That's all I get. And that's why I record those because what is more real? Something that was tirelessly composed over weeks or something and played flawlessly, beautiful, technically perfect and
mm,
beautiful. Is that more real than someone who said, "This is what is real to me now, right here, and it's recorded and you can have it forever?" I don't know. I don't
I,
know. I'm not saying one or the other.
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah. But I know the answer for myself. What I gravitate towards, and what I'm sure you do as well. Okay, so next question is going to be a bit different, but I'm asking this, and I listed this because there's a lot of artists in the chat, who mix and master their own music. There's someone actually, Tronitas. He is a fellow Canadian. He's not an artist, but he is someone who I believe has the ear for music, and specifically the quality of the music, because he picks up things that I miss in my own mix. Now, granted,
Right.
I do my mixing and mastering and everything on a very low volume because I don't want to wake up the kids, but
Yeah.
sometimes he hears something and he say, "Yeah, 15, like this part, there's something here," and he catches it. And then when I listen to it in the car or when I crank it up when the kids are
Yeah,
away,
then you catch it.
then I catch it too. So for someone like that, and I've always been trying to push him that he should look into, becoming like an audio engineer or something.
Right.
So, but I always tell him that you don't really need a fancy degree to do it. You need the ear, which I
Yeah.
believe he does. So when you do mixing and mastering, and we've already talked about this, but for everyone here in the audience, do you have pro training or you just,
No, no, I just taught my first in fact, the first the single that I ever released, just a real simple, like, guitar, bass, drum instrumental. There is no mixing or mastering. I moved the volumes and trebles and bass around until it didn't sound like complete dog shit. That's it. And that's where I started, and then I started realizing that which this is funny, is despite my absolute amateur level when it came to trying to record or do any, especially, I mean, the last time I would have recorded music, it wouldn't have been able to record it the way we do now at home in a computer, like, so, like, I had no idea that, but oh, what I was getting at was that luck somehow by coincidence, the DAW that I chose to use was, like, far more incredible than I ever realized it was.
yeah,
And when I started realizing, "Oh, you have to mix things, you have to adjust oh, yeah, that's why it sounds good and not mine doesn't." And really between the program that I chose, and just my, like I've said before, just my desire to do this and make it work, I just started learning how to do it and figuring it out. And I mean, it's and for me, it's still like this is what I do. Like you were talking about with the volume level and stuff. I do my monitors in here. I do these headphones. I go listen in the car. I listen on regular AirPods. I listen on regular iPhone headphones, and then I listen on whatever the cheapest, like $5 gas station headphones. That's how I listen. And all I do is I keep doing that and doing that and doing that until it sounds the way I think it's supposed to
Yep.
sound. But I truthfully have no idea if it sounds right. Honestly, I do not. I'm not trying to sound like, oh, look, I'm being humble. No,
Mhm.
I genuinely don't know if it sounds right. It just sounds right to me.
Yep.
That's all I know.
Yep. No, I completely I can completely relate to that as well. I usually have I take notes when I'm in the car. Like I'll be parked, like picking up my kid or something from school, and I'll be listening to it and I'll be taking notes that, okay, when you
Right.
get home, bring the bass down a couple of decibels, and then pan this here, pan this there. Like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
crazy how we do it, right?
Yeah. The
Okay.
car from the guys though that do it professionally, what I understand, the car is the test. If it
Yes.
sounds right in the car, it doesn't matter, even if it sounds fucked up on your headphones or something. If it's right in the car, that's
Yep.
where you want it to sound right.
100%. 100%. I'm gonna ask you this next question, and then we'll play a song.
Okay.
Graphic designing is another one of your skills. I don't know if people I don't know if people can see this. I'm not gonna full screen it because we're all over, and if I switch scenes, then it's gonna be a bit of a pain. But all of these promos that you see or you saw for this interview, they were all done by Wolf. And just look at his graphic design work, and even the thumbnail actually for today's stream was designed by Wolf. So, tell me a little bit about this.
So same kind of thing. What I like when I did that first song that I was telling you about. It's called 0030. If anybody wants to, it's
Mhm.
very popular in Brazil, and that's not a joke.
Okay.
I don't know. I
I
don't know.
don't know why, but
I got lucky with a promo or a ran or something.
yeah.
I don't know. Um, but uh, I realized, okay, if I used DistroKid like a lot of people, and I realized, okay, so as I'm researching how you do all this, okay, so I get my song recorded. I think it's the greatest song ever written, so everybody should hear it.
Yeah.
And it's probably the worst song ever written, but and mixed, not at all. But
Yeah.
anyway, so I realized, oh, I have to have an album cover. So I'm like, oh, how do I make album covers? And then I find Canva, I think, is the first one I used. So I find Canva and then I start making album. Then I start realizing, oh, I got to do these other things. I didn't use social media for like the first 6 months I started doing this. I hadn't
Oh
been on
wow.
social media in like 5 or 6 years. I would still not be. I am only really on social media because I have to be. It's not something I would choose for
Yep.
myself.
Mm.
So, um, but either way, so I realized I got to start making things and making reels and doing things and promoting. So I just started playing around and I ended up finding it was actually like something I really enjoyed. So then I went a step further and I was like, well, let's just do it. Let's get Adobe. Screw it. So I use like After Effects a lot. That's where you get like that intro that you just showed. That's made in After Effects. It's kind
I
of their
see.
specialty is doing like smaller promos, not like full
Yep.
videos and stuff. So I just like, same thing. I just invested my time in learning how to do it. I mean, even Canva, and this is something for people out there that need to do this kind of stuff for their own work, their own art or music or whatever. If you really invest time, you can do things with Canva that you would pay hundreds and thousands of dollars for with software that it'll do the same thing. And
Absolutely.
you can do it for free, or if you want, it's $10 or $5 a month or something, and you can honestly do so many things. You have to learn it, and some of it's tricky to figure out, but you can actually do almost anything that any of these high-end crazy software companies are trying to sell you.
100%. And when you do it yourself, based on your skill level, obviously, which improves with time, you can totally express yourself when you do it yourself. When I was making my cover art for my album, I actually, at one point, because I was so busy with everything else, I was like, I'm going to outsource this to someone on Fiverr. And that was like the biggest mistake I made, because like within a few days, I was like, nah, fuck this, I'll do it myself. Because just like getting your vision out there to someone, and for them to actually truly understand what you're trying to go for. And maybe some of it falls on us as well. We can't express what we really want to see. But yeah, I wanted to bring that up because I try and improve every time when it comes to graphics and stuff. Your stuff, there's other channels who've used, you've made promos for them, intros for them, and everything. And someday maybe I might be like, Wolf Bro, can you do a brother a favor here and make me something as well?
I had started to kind of dabble into it to where it was kind of like almost more starting to be a business. And the thing is, like, I will absolutely help out people like here and there, but that would be too much.
Yeah, because if somebody pays you, then there's expectations, there's deadlines, there's all that stuff. And I completely agree.
It's really something I could only do like at my leisure.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
I don't mind doing it. I don't mind doing it when.
But it has to be done, in your own free time. No deadlines. Your vision. Nobody asking you, "Oh, could you change this? Could you change that?" No, fuck that. Like, this is how I envision it. Okay, I'm gonna play Even Over Angry.
All right.
Let's go. Let me know when you got it loaded, Wolf.
I'm good to go.
All right. So this is Even Over Angry. Let's go, guys. Damn, bro. That that one just completely went off. Jeez.
Glad you enjoyed.
Holy smokes. I do have a special announcement here. Frank Turzo, who's in the chat, has just purchased 2 additional copies of the album.
I appreciate it.
And he wants to use it as a giveaway during this chat. So there's 2 questions. I'll ask the first question. Whoever gets the answer first, based on this chat right here, I'll move it a bit here so you can see what I see. Actually, I'll let the mods be the judge of who answered first. Whoever gets the answer first gets the copy, and then the same with the second question. If you are the winner, you can email Frank Turzo. Frank, can you drop your email address, please, in the chat as well, if when we have the winner? And you can email Frank your delivery address. He's just going to enter that. He's sitting there on the checkout page, and he'll enter that address, and you'll get the CD, like a copy of the album. So the first question, ready? Wolf's sobriety date that he mentioned. What was the date that he mentioned after that? He pulled himself out of that spiral. Let's go. Whoever gets it first wins the first giveaway copy. Shout out to Frank Turzo, by the way, man. Frankie's he's a great, amazing human being and artist.
He was one of the original purchasers.
Yep. Champagne Rain, November 16th. You know the year as well, Champagne? There you go. Champagne Rain, congratulations. You win the first giveaway copy.
Development was close.
Dev was August 1st, 2023. Okay, so Champagne, if you can email Frank Turzo, the delivery address, he can just enter that and you can get your copy. Puukie saying I bought my copy.
Out one of the first buyers as well.
Yeah, Puukie's my Pooksicle. All right, guys, ready for the next question? So Champagne, you'll have to sit this one out so that we can have a different winner. If Jimi Hendrix never existed, who would be Michael's favorite guitarist? Let's go. That one is easy, guys. Let's go. And we are waiting.
It's who can type it the fastest.
That's
Pretty
what
sure
it is.
everybody probably knows that one.
That's what it's about now. Typing contest. There you go.
Yep.
Bass Girl 42.
Check with the judges, but we'll accept that.
I think Bass Girl answered it first.
Yeah, she did.
Mamsy says 15 Ben.
Yes.
Mamsy bro, love you, bro. All right, so Bass Girl wins. So you can email Frank Turzo. He dropped his email. And yep, Snooks, thank you for confirming. That was amazing, Frank Turzo. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah, that was awesome. Thank you.
Let's play another song, Wolf, and then come back to the rest of the questions. Or you want to say something about that one?
I don't know. What did we do even right now? No, I mean, I think it's pretty self-explanatory. It's just,
all right.
I'm good. I'm even.
I think Peace is one of those that really stood out to me as well when I was listening to it before the stream. I think people are going to love this. Let's go. While Frank and the winners sort out. Queen Bee also bought a copy of your album, by the way. Shout out Queen Bee. Queen Bee is really amazing supporter as well. Let's go. This is called Peace.
I've been looking in the mirror for so long.
That was Peace. Um, I think the lyrics and the music on this was much different than the rest of your songs. There was like this instrument. It sounded like a pipe instrument. Um,
This is it's got cello, violin, and standing bass.
Cello, violin. Okay,
Yeah,
the string, another string instrument.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
That really stood out in this one. I haven't heard that in the other songs that we played earlier today.
Right.
So this
Yeah,
is your.
I really and I think it's actually like the description I use for when I set up the Trev Star account for the album. Like when people see it, it's like I really tried to pull in the influence of all genres of rock and roll, from folk, which I kind of consider this, I guess, kind of folk, bluegrass. I don't
Yep.
know.
Yep.
And I really try to kind of pull that, just like pull everything from anywhere that I listen to music and anything that influences me, but still try to keep it cohesive. But to me, rock and roll is rock and roll.
Yep.
So I mean, you can hear some kind of late 80s maybe, or even or mid 80s thrash metal with Brazen is kind of that influence with the speed and this, and it's just I just it's rock music to me. It's rock,
Yep.
whether it's folk or blues or it's some fusion of, trap and lead. Like one of my favorite things to actually do is to produce like a trap backing track and then play lead over it. So I mean, yeah,
Whatever sounds good working together. Like, why do we have to restrict ourselves to like a
yeah,
specific
exactly.
genre and everything? Right? Like, just
Yeah.
do whatever. Like that. That's what I do as well. I put like violins and everything in there, and then there's a
Well,
flute sound or whatever.
and this was another one of those songs was very rare to me where I kind of had a melody or a progression, and the like the first verse, like that opening kind of verse, whatever you want to call it, I don't. It just kind of wrote itself to the what I was playing,
Yep.
and then the rest of the song was just really easy to do because of how it just fell together. I mean, everything just came together. It was which for me is very rare with vocals. Vocals, I still struggle. I struggle to write sometimes, and I struggle to find the melody or what I want to do with it. I'm still in a very, very uncomfortable singer. I work probably like on a recording. I probably spend 5 to 10 times more on my vocal than I do on playing my guitar.
Oh,
Like
really?
in the whole scope of the project. Yes. I am incredibly insecure about my voice. I have zero confidence. Like, I don't know, even honestly, it's been so long since I've performed in front of anybody. I don't know, honestly, until I go to do it, whether or not I'm going to be able to, just because of the time that it's been, not knowing whether or not it's going to, anxiety is going to take me or what. But it's, yeah, I record most of the music I do that's vocal, I record, it's probably 20, 30, 40, some of them 100 takes
Oh my God! Wow.
on vocals. Some songs are not that way, believe it or not, like You Mean It. I did that in like 30 minutes.
that that
But again, it was one of those, it just worked.
exactly.
Everything just worked.
Yep.
So but again, it is something I struggle with. I
Yeah.
struggle a lot with
No,
the vocals.
I can understand, but my vocal capabilities are far inferior compared to yours. But um, I remember the one song I did sing on. I probably like did two takes. After the second one, I was just like so embarrassed of myself that I just didn't want to do any more takes, and that's the only one I used. But Independent Men United, by the way, just said, "Wolf, your voice is awesome," and also Doug Mitkiff Sr. just told me in a DM that I will purchase 3 copies tomorrow and donate 2. If I do it right now, it cuts me off from the stream because he's on the phone. So shout out
Really
to
appreciate
Doug
that.
Mitkiff.
Thank you, Doug.
Thank you everyone for showing so much support. I mean,
I
this
I
guy
wanna
deserves it.
I wanna say to everybody too, There's a lot of we haven't got into that, and maybe we don't even have time tonight, but between some of my background and some of my current life, I have a lot of insight into the actual music industry, plus just all the connections I have in the independent music industry. And you don't realize I'm going to tell you guys right now, there are mainstream artists, very large mainstream artists that would rather right now be sitting in the chair I am talking to a few people that are buying their physical album that they put everything into than be in the 90-10 garbage contract they are with their label right now. So when I say that I sincerely appreciate this, I really mean that, because I know people who are millionaires that would rather be sitting here right now having this interaction with all of you. So I am sincerely grateful.
No, that's very kind words, and that makes what I do and what the people in the chat come up for. That makes it makes our day, like, because it kind of validates the reason why we're here. And thank you for that. I really appreciate that as well, and I'm sure people in the chat do as well. Wolf, question: why did you delete your old channel? I remember you had like over 1,000, and now I think we're going into what you were just saying.
Right.
Going into that realm.
Background
Yeah,
stuff.
like why did you why did you delete it? Because I remember you had over like 1,000 subs, and I remember I was really small time at that time, and I was like, man, like 1,000 subs, like I wish one day I get there. So what happened?
Basically it grew out of something that isn't really what I wanted to do anyway in the first place. Like I said at the beginning of this, and just so that everybody has clarity too, when if they choose to subscribe to my channel, I'm not a YouTuber. I do not intend to ever do live streams. Maybe once in a blue moon, if like I start gaining some traction and I'm doing an album release or something. But that's it. I will never be a reactor. I will never be even like just a reviewer, or kind of like a community like this where we just hang out. I will never be that.
Yep.
I tried doing that. It's not for me. It's just not for me. And by the time I had kind of made that decision, I had probably upset some people who I have no ill will towards, but there's probably some people upset because I kind of stepped away from some communities when all this happened. But it was all just for my mental health. And because my channel kind of grew out of something I didn't intend for it to be, all I ever intended for it to be was a place where I put my music videos. That was it. And it grew into this big thing. And because I grew to that, once I had decided that that's not what it is to me, the algorithm I was fucked.
Yep.
Because I hit like 1,200 or something, and then I would bounce back and forth 10 to 20, 30 subs every day up and down for a year or something, or whatever month. I don't know how long it was. But basically the channel died, and I didn't have time to invest in it. And that's why now with creating a new channel, I'm not going to do anything with it that I don't intend to be a consistent thing, which is right now, maybe once or twice a week, you get a music video. A lot of them are going to be actually old music videos that I already made, because I already have them done and they're quick and easy for me to upload, but it still gives a lot of new people a chance who've never heard it to, see something they've never heard. But that's basically what it is. It just, that channel was doing something that I didn't intend to ever do with it. And it was going to be screwed up anyway to try to backtrack. So I got rid of it.
That's fair enough, because not everyone has the I shouldn't even say time, because we've already talked about time. Making time for something is something that everyone can do, as we said, but it's more about the mental energy, I should say, that like I don't want to, I can't do this right now. I can't focus. And trust me, I get it. There are times where I am completely stretched thin with everything going on, and then someone who I really like will message me, or someone who I really like will comment on a video, and I'll be sitting there itching that, man, I want to really respond to this person, because I don't want them to feel that I'm ignoring them. But it's just like you get bombarded with so much stuff. Like I had to put a community post just to and people in my community who regularly come to my streams, who know me, they know that I'm not the kind of person who's going to be like, yeah, you know what, like fuck it, I made it, and I don't need any one of
Right.
you.
Right.
I will always appreciate these people. But like I was away with family for a couple of days, and then with the album launch last week, like I was mentally spent because you and I talked about this a few weeks ago when we were setting this up. Like what I was going through at that time with PayPal and business bank
Yeah.
account and this and that, it was just completely drained. I haven't played the guitar in like a couple of months now. Like play, like properly sit
Yeah.
down and just like jam or do whatever, because it's just like everything else is completely sucked the fun out of me completely.
Yeah. No,
Um,
I get it.
and at that time when someone reaches out to me, and I'm like, man, like I'm just like lying down like this, and it's not like I do it because it's an obligation, but I really want to talk to them as well. But sometimes it's really draining, and it really takes a toll. So I completely understand what you're saying.
Yeah,
Um,
and I mean, I'm a completely well, I don't know if were you I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt if you weren't
yeah,
done.
no worries, no, go for it.
Oh, yeah, I'm a very introverted person. You and I discussed it privately.
Yeah,
I'm extremely introverted. And that's a big part of like with the YouTube thing. It has no appeal to me. I did it because I felt obligated, because I felt that's what people who were already following me and my music wanted from me.
yeah,
And then I gave them what they wanted, and I was miserable. So I won't do that ever again.
yeah,
I have said publicly before, and I'll say it now. I make music for me. If others enjoy it, I am grateful,
yeah,
but I didn't make it for them.
yeah.
So whether you enjoy it or you don't, always know I made it because I needed to make it. I made it because I needed to do whatever it is, whatever it was. It needed to be on the paper and then in the guitar and out of my mouth or whatever and recorded. I don't know why sometimes it just did,
Yeah,
but it's always just because I needed it.
100%. That
Uh,
was your release. You needed to do
right,
it. Yeah,
right.
yeah.
So
No, I'm sure a lot of people can actually appreciate that and respect it.
right.
Um,
And to tie it in real quick, it's just that I it like with that, with the whole thing with YouTube, and then even moving past all this, I just to be social is like having like your car running at 8,000 RPM. Like your gas, you're getting to 12 miles to the gallon,
yeah,
your battery's dying, you're tearing it apart, and I have to recover from it. Like to after this, not like when we finish tonight, I will be shut down for days.
yeah.
Because it's just is even though I wanna do this and I enjoy this, it's it's
It's gonna
still
drain you.
an
It's gonna
interaction
drain
that
you.
drains my
Hundred
battery.
percent.
Yeah,
100%.
yeah,
Yep. And those who are not introverts will never like completely understand it. I'm not an introvert per se, but like there are a lot of you know contradictions in my head. Like some days I will be an introvert, like I don't want to see anyone.
right.
But there are other days I want to see people. So I get that part as well. Frank
Well,
said
I think oh, go ahead, I'm sorry.
I text 15 Ben 15 times daily. Is he talking about me? No, bro, I'm not talking about you. It's to none of the people in the chat. This wasn't aimed at any of you. It was more. There's a lot of DMs I get, right? Like even now, I
Uh,
have 17 unread chats on IG. Unread chats, not messages, chats, different. And it's like I open
yeah.
it up and I'm like, how am I? Where do I start? It
I
becomes.
think that's an important thing to kinda touch on too when it comes to, like, if with interaction and stuff is and I've stated this publicly before because 'cause I'm just recently back on Facebook. I wasn't on Facebook for
Yep,
I don't know how long, but, um, I just I think I have to have it. I have to
I know.
for the music. So, but anyways, so, my following there's pretty small, and it's a lot of it is people I actually know, actual friends and family and stuff. But I had to make a post like right away and say, look, I'm not here to socialize. I'm not here to DM. If you have my phone number or some other way we have arranged that you contact me, that's cool. But people wouldn't believe the things I get sent between my email and my Instagram.
Yeah.
People wouldn't believe. I didn't know that men received so many dick pics. They do, apparently.
Okay.
Death
Thankfully,
threats.
I haven't received any.
You
But
haven't had any of those, buddy?
no.
You need to step your game up,
I
pal.
think I need to step up my game.
Listen, this is how I knew the day I knew that music was gonna work out somehow was the first day that my Instagram grew to a point where I started receiving dick pics. This is a threshold. All right?
That means you made it. That means you made
have
it.
to pass. Dude, if you can get past that, you are in another level. No, but in seriousness, with an Instagram that's larger like mine, I have maybe 500 DMs a day.
Yep.
Sometimes between my email and DMs, I could have up to 1,000 in a day.
Yep.
And most of it is somebody either trying to steal something from me, scam me, get me to buy something, try to sell their bullshit on my Instagram. OnlyFans girls, and then, you know, the last one. So, like, people have to understand, though, like, even if I know you, your message might be buried in
and dick pics.
hundreds of what I just
hundreds
described.
of dick pics. You know?
Yes.
Oh my god! I think I need a break. I need to play a song now.
Do you want to do the next song?
Because the next,
I didn't mean to wait 2 hours and 20 minutes to bust out the comedy.
No. My next question was actually going to be about music promo and stuff, and I will get to that because that is a very important part of music as well. The dick pics are just like, you know, like we will get to that. Manufactured artists is the next one, but that's only like a minute long, so I'll play two. Manufactured artists and empirical. All right.
That sounds.
Let me know when you have both of them loaded.
I'm gonna have to just drop them in separate. I screwed this up.
Ozark, dang, I'm done too.
Just go ahead, or if you don't mind, just run it real quick, and then we'll drop the next one. And
all right, sure, yeah.
Give you a quick.
Yep, quick sure. Let's play manufactured artist first. Here we go.
Walked right through a million people today. I wouldn't have had the slightest clue what to say. 'Cause I'm carrying around 1,000,000 pounds, trying to keep out the sounds they're making in your town. No, you're not like me, and you don't want to be there. Plenty of things you think you want to see, but you're not like me, and you don't want to be. Trust me when I tell you there are things best left a mystery.
For that, so why was that like only a minute and a half long?
Okay, so this song, everything about this song is very calculated.
Okay,
every part of it is very calculated.
Fair enough. I really enjoy that one.
All right, so
and I would say at this point that I wish it was longer, but because of all the conversation about dick pics, you know, that's gonna lead to different kinds of of jokes over here. So I'm not gonna say that.
Yeah, I seen the chat looked like it's just like a solid wall of smiley laughing faces at one point. I looked over. I mean, it is funny, but I'm not kidding. There's things you like when you have certain levels of followings in certain places, the things people do is crazy. But anyways, so we kind of already talked about this with bums, I guess, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
This is kind of that same. It's along the same line of like you taking real stories from, and I'm not even me, from whoever. You're taking these real stories and you're selling us these people like these are their stories. And then the basic concept, you wouldn't actually want to have lived it or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you notice the whole thing. There's not really much of. I have some chorus, almost like if you were at an open mic at a bar,
Yeah.
and maybe the guy was good enough. He had maybe some compression and some chorus, but that was probably all you got from your mic.
Yeah.
The guitar is just stripped down. The strings are not right for it. It sounds hollow and empty. And it's 1minute 37 seconds long. Because what else? I mean, what else are you gonna say?
Yeah.
It's nothing else to really get out there, or I could have just repeated those lines over and over again like 15 times. You see what I'm getting at?
I do.
The whole song is a fuck you to every fake. And I don't disparage people for making it. I don't disparage people for having their art their way. It's not about that.
Yeah.
It's not about that. It's about there are people you would know
Yeah.
who they get elevated often for strategic reasons.
Yeah.
These things happen within the music industry. It's not. I'm not going to get into it real deep.
Yeah.
Oliver Anthony, that is not organic. All right.
I've heard that.
It is not organic. Not even for a second is it organic.
Exactly.
And anyone who is any knowledge, even ancillary to the music industry, we all know what that is.
I heard that from a couple of people who really know the music industry.
Way, I want a caveat before this.
Yeah.
He's an incredibly talented
no doubt.
Person.
No doubt.
Incredibly talented person who deserves whatever it is he gets out of this. But it is not an organic thing. I've
heard that there's corporations behind it that was planted. Okay, that is something for Independent Many United, our friend Indy. She runs these streams on Monday nights, and the topics that come up are amazing. I would love if somehow this topic came there. Oh, that would be an amazing chat.
Yeah, I could give you guys things you don't even want to know. Things you don't even want to know.
Yeah, but no question. His voice, the music, lyrics, beautiful.
Well, that was, that was honestly, that's just coincidental that we set this up and then that happened.
Yes,
it has nothing. This song had nothing to do with him, obviously.
Yeah. So Indy's asking, Wolf. She's saying, do you think he has a contract then?
100%. Here, let me tell you guys something. Okay, since we're on it and we can't get away from it, I want you guys to just think about one thing. The guy's own YouTube channel, his actual YouTube channel, before whatever day this was a decent channel. I mean, you're looking at several 100,000 subs. Videos were all tenths of thousands, some of them over 100,000. This wasn't an unsuccessful channel. What channel did his music video blow up on, which is now like somewhere near 50 million views? It isn't his name on it. That's your first clue. Once you see that, and then what the story, I found this guy and it was this incredible thing, so I used my platform. That's all you need to know right there. That's all you need to know. It's all a lie.
There's been a lot of stuff like that circulating, and I didn't get a chance to do a lot of...
I'm so sorry to interrupt you, but I really don't want to be like, I am not disparaging him.
Not at all. Me neither. He is amazing.
Incredible artist.
Incredible.
And whatever the success he gets, he deserves.
Yes.
I can't help but feel that what we get sold, I can't. If I know what we are sold is wrong, I can't.
100%. The thing is, there's no doubting his talent and everything. He deserves it. He deserves all the attention he's getting.
Yes,
the problem is the 100%. reason that he's getting the attention is totally opposite of
why he deserves it.
Yes. Yep. It's very
it's almost more insulting to him.
Yes, 100%. Okay, so this is gonna
that will go into woo.
Yeah.
So do we want to do the next song?
All right, let's go. Empirical. You ready?
Give me 1 second. I'm sorry.
Man, worries.
I am ready, sir.
All right, let's go. Empirical. Bro, what in the freaking heck was that?
That was a.
What the fuck, bro? That was
I I did that in like 15 minutes. That was a I felt something in that moment and I just had to do it and then I just did it. I had kind of the beat made and then the guitar I heard it as it was playing like when you hear like my scrapes and some of my weird
yeah.
open stuff. It's just like I just didn't it just felt like this is something different. I don't know, and I just did it, and that was it, and it took I literally made that in maybe 15, 20 minutes.
Okay, you won't be able to hear this, Wolf. Give me a second. I have to play one part again. Sorry. This I'm at 1 minute 40 seconds, Wolf. If you want to come to that point, I have to hear this again.
I got it.
Like when that guitar comes in, holy smokes! What the fuck? Let me know when you're there.
Oh, yeah, I'm good.
All right, let's go. 1, 2, 3, play. That was amazing, bro. That was just I loved all the different elements, and for some reason your playing reminded me of Buckethead in this one. For some reason.
Yeah,
That's how I heard it.
when I come in wherever at that midway point, that is very, very Buckethead-esque.
Right?
It's I'm all over. I'm string skipping and like it. That's the sound of it. You're not quite sure what scale I'm playing. Yeah, that's all. I guess I don't know. It just happened.
Oh,
And then when it did you notice the next section when the full beat comes back in, the first like 7 or 8 notes, I'm still doing the volume swell.
yes.
Well, I
Yes.
discovered that's as fast as I can play and do the volume swell. Was that first section. So then you don't hear it anymore. That was not like a decision I made. That was just I was going to play faster and realized I couldn't do the volume swells so I just started playing faster and stopped doing them. It's just I don't know.
Crazy, man. That was I truly like blew me away.
That's one of even though most of my back catalog is instrumental, this is actually one of my favorite
It's
of my instrumentals.
beautiful. Z Offender, welcome, brother. Wow, Wolf. That did something to me, bro. I'll be listening to that even after the interview ends. Okay, this is probably my last question, Wolf, that I had listed. How has the music promo experience, other than the dick pics, how has it been with all these self-proclaimed organic promos and everything that we get spammed with? We spoke about this when we were backstage one day when we were just setting this up, and we both were, like frustrated with it. But there's so many artists here as well. I want to share anything you've learned from it, lessons learned.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think the thing is you before you even start thinking about where you're gonna get promo, you need to look at what you are trying to do. Like, cause look, there are people for one reason or another, and I'm not even knocking it. There are people who, for one reason or another, sometimes you just need your monthly listeners to look really good on Spotify.
Yeah,
Okay. So, but find the cheapest promotion and do it if that's what you need. Okay. Because they're not going to be real, but it's going to be on there. And I'm being serious. There are times where sometimes you
100%.
actually need it to say that.
Yep, 100%.
Because some other promotion, you may need to show that you actually have any kind of fan base, that you're
Yes.
not at zero.
Yep.
So you might have to show you have some monthly listeners on one of the platforms to even get someone else to run a promotion, like a real one for you.
100%.
So, but by and large, this is the thing. If it's streaming numbers, it's probably not real unless they are showing you that you are actually being playlisted, and that's how your streams are coming in. If it's just saying you pay this much and you'll get 1,000 streams, it's fake.
But even Wolf with the playlist, a lot of them are just bought playlists.
You have to be careful with the playlist as well. Now, I will say this though. If it honestly doesn't take a lot of research this day and age to find who's reputable and who isn't.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, one of the telltale signs, if you see two companies, they're offering you the same thing, and one of them costs 10 times more than the other. Unfortunately, when it comes to promotion, the one that costs 10 times more than the other is probably the real one that's actually going to do something for you.
100%.
Real promotion is extremely expensive.
Extremely expensive. And even that one, and there's no guarantee what type of playlist they're going to put you on. They might put you in like we talked, like they'll put a song like this in a hip hop playlist, and everyone's just going to skip over it because that's not why they hit play on that playlist.
And a lot of the promotion, the bigger promotion, is all focused to hip hop and pop music, pop country, things like that. It's actually difficult to even find good promotion for like indie rock, whatever kind of style you want to, and especially instrumental. In fact, before I had done anything vocally with my recorded music, I never knew even what to put when I was trying to find promotion. It's like, I guess it's rock music because I play a guitar. Yeah, but this song is literally a hip hop beat.
Yeah.
And then you just played lead guitar over it.
Exactly.
What is that?
What is that?
So it's difficult, but that's what I'm getting at. You need to know before you want to invest money in promotion. First, you need to know what you're trying to do. Are you trying to sell a CD? Are you just worried about trying to build up your streaming platforms because maybe you have a genre of music that, even though it's independent, it's still very popular to where you could see huge growth and have a lot of revenue just from streaming. You need to figure out what your focus is, or you will be like a lot of us who've already learned the lesson the hard way. I have literally burned between promotion and equipment that I need. I've burned tens of thousands of dollars, not thousands, tens of thousands of dollars. Some of it was good, some of it was bad, but in the end, I have not made any of it back, basically.
Yep.
So you really need to do promotion correctly. You have to first know what it is you're promoting it for. It can't just be, well, I just need people to see it.
Yep.
It does not help you. It does not help you to just put, like, for example, just like putting ads on Facebook videos or Instagram. A lot of people see it.
Yep.
Absolutely meaningless unless people who like music, who like your kind of music, see it.
Yep. Exactly. Otherwise, they just skip it.
Yeah.
On Facebook, actually, they'll come to your inbox and start arguing with you. Why did I see your ad on my video? I'm like, shut the fuck up. You know, just skip it, man. Like, what the fuck, you know?
Some of the worst things I've ever been told were Facebook messages based from ads.
Because you tried to run a promo to see if you're, somebody might like what they hear. But some fucking asshole is just sitting there like, oh, why did I see an ad? Like, shut the fuck up, you know? Like,
Yeah.
get an ad blocker if it's such a big problem.
Half of your
Yeah.
feed isn't shit you meant to follow. It's just,
Yeah.
but no, but that's the best advice I can give after wasting tens of thousands of dollars is that you figure out what your goal is, figure out what you're trying to do. Like I just said, are you trying to physically sell music? Are you trying to make a very, very big presence in social media? Maybe you do something that will be more in tune to sync licensing deals with television, film, video games. That's been something that has constantly I'm bombarded about because a lot of my early music is very emotional yet instrumental. I get bombarded still to this day about things for sync licensing. Now here the big thing with this is whatever you do with sync licensing, don't plan on ever it being yours because it will never be yours. That's the one thing. If you do music that fits well with sync licensing companies,
Yep.
you can make way more money than any of us ever will making our music trying to sell it.
Yep.
But it also is never going to be your music. You make something and they own the master. So it's just you have to figure out what you want to do.
Yep.
And then focus, do your research, find a good reputable company, and then figure out what and a lot of the times too, this is what people don't like hearing this either, but if you are looking for promotion, if the company that is going to promote you doesn't actually vet you and decide whether or not your music is even worth them promoting, they are not a very good company.
100%.
And that's hard to say because look, we've all probably made music that if we showed somebody at a publicist office, they'd be like, no one's going to ever buy that. I know I have.
Yep. Yep.
So, you also have to be realistic, but I will say this, in my experience with the very high end, like PR firms, the quality in your mix and master is far more important to them than the actual, like, is the music good?
Yep. Yep.
They want the production quality to
Exactly.
be high. Whatever the music is irrelevant because there's probably somebody enough people within different genres of music they'll listen to it. But if your mix and your engineering is shit, they won't mess with you.
They might not even listen to your whole song or use your whole song. They'll chop it up and do whatever with it and then want to use it as a soundbite or whatever. Also, one more thing is if people do spend money on these promotions, if it turns out to be a fake promotion, that damages your algorithm like nothing else.
Yes,
because then your music is going to be boosted up to bots that don't exist. So there's a lot of things to think about.
That's like half my Instagram right now.
Yeah, and then that happens,
like it's dead. It's like completely dead.
On Spotify, when I was starting out, I got these emails from like big companies. Like if you read up on them, I don't want to take their names, but if you read up on them, there's like great reviews and this and that, and none of them are promising like billions of streams and stuff. But they're gonna pitch your music to playlisters. If they like it, they'll add it, and so it's all like legit. It's not like you're paying pay to play. It's like, okay, please pitch my song and see if they like it.
First time. Oh, sorry, I didn't go ahead.
No, and I was just saying, and it turned out that all the playlists that my music got added to were mostly botted, and I got a huge boost in listeners, but it never translated to anything because
didn't get follows, saves, re-listens, and with
they can even fake that now.
Oh yeah,
they can fake saves and everything now.
You can buy anything. In fact, there's a place that's called Promo Sound. They're based in the Netherlands or something.
Yeah.
You can literally buy anything for any. So they'll write comments and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. All the same, like emojis and shit. Yeah. But what is the point at the end of the day? There's no point.
There's no point. And like being somebody who's made those mistakes. I mean, it's devastating to your algorithm for your things, and it doesn't matter how big or small you are.
Yeah.
Because I was like my Instagram at one point, I would think I was over 12,000 completely organically. Once I had somehow in there some crap promotion that started getting to where I was probably had hundreds of bots, it was done. That was over. Not only did it kill my algorithm, but now only things that find me and follow me organically are unorganic things like other bots. And
yes.
So it just builds my IG with fake crap.
Yeah. So those bots are sending you fake dick pics then?
Yeah. No. Let's No, but that's what I was gonna say. That you made me think of a good point just now with what you were talking about. Is knew the first time I found a good promotion company because the first like 50 emails I got were people telling me, playlisters telling me that my music wasn't good enough to go on their playlist. That's how I know I found the first real promotion company when I did it.
Yeah.
And I did get playlisted. It wasn't, I mean, what I realized in that moment was that if you are really trying to get somewhere with it, you're going to experience 99% rejection.
Yeah.
You just have to accept that.
But Wolf, just to add to that, a lot of these playlisters, they already have like big names on their playlist, because keep in mind, if you have a big name on your playlist, everyone who listens to that big artist is going to come, there's a chance of them coming over to your playlist, hitting like, hitting follow and everything, right? Yeah. So a lot of them already have these slots for all these big names, but they still say, "Oh, we're taking more submissions," just so that they charge you money just for their time to consider your song. But they already know they're not going to add you, and they'll say, "Oh, beautiful song, everything is amazing, but yeah, not a right fit for my playlist." Like, shut the fuck up, man! Like, it's such a dirty industry now, and that's why I moved away from Spotify pretty early on. I don't even give a shit about it. I haven't run like people have approached me, pay me $50 and we'll pitch it to this guy. I'm like, shut the fuck up and get out. Like, I don't want it anymore. That's why I really enjoy YouTube, because I can actually interact with these people and I know that these are real people. Yeah. Compared to Spotify and stuff. But obviously but now I'm using YouTube to, if anyone is a Spotify user, they know me from YouTube, they can go and listen to my music on Spotify. And I'm actually doing much better now. Like, I have, I think, 280 or 300 monthly listeners, around that. But they're real people. I know they're real people. So
good. Yeah.
So, I mean, I would take that any day. Okay, I'll play this one, which is the last one. Smoke 'em if you got 'em.
And I will, I don't know what more you wanted to do. And I probably should try to get to bed in the next 10 or 15 minutes at least. Here.
So this is the last one. Then we'll come back for closing remarks, and we're out of here. Let's go. Let me know when you got it loaded.
I'm ready.
All right. Wait a second. Why is that opening in the other one? Give me 1 second here. Here we go. That was an abrupt ending.
I can't just do something normal, man.
Okay. So that was Smoke 'em If You Got 'em. We've played all the tracks that we wanted to from the album. Again, if you guys like what you heard, please go buy the album, stream it, whatever you want, or whatever you can do. His topic page on YouTube has these songs as well. Please sub him up. He's an amazing artist, amazing human being, as we all saw and heard today. Also, Doug Midkiff Sr., Wolf, he bought 2 copies that he wants to gift to someone. I mentioned that I can get in touch with you later, and if you want to gift them to someone, then Doug can just have them shipped to you in the States, and then you can feel free to give it to someone that you feel would really...
I think we should keep it in the community.
Keep it in the community? Okay.
Yeah.
So should we do another contest or... Okay, yeah, let's do a contest.
However you want
Quick
to.
one.
This is your
Quick-
show, buddy.
Quick one. Which song of mine did Wolf play that solo on? Which song was that beat from which Wolf played that song on? First one to answer gets first copy. And by the way, Wolf, you're at 54 subs now, bro.
Oh, thank you guys. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I think it was 30 earlier when I
Still criminally undersubbed, but you know.
What are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do?
I know what we could not do is run some bad promo and ruin your channel.
Okay, so still nobody has answered the question. Which song of mine? Okay, there you go. Trondas gets the first one. The poll. So Trondas is gonna get a copy for the CD. My chat lagged. Okay. Frank, your message popped up after Trondas. Okay, so that's one. The second one, Doug, you can gift it to Indy, I guess. Indy or Snooks, whichever one of them answers a question. Or actually, we'll talk about that. So it's gonna be either Indy or Snooks. And let's take it from there. Okay. Thank you so much, Wolf, for being up here and being so open and honest with your story, your journey. I'm sure everyone who was here is gonna walk away from this, with newfound respect for you, because they had heard your music, but the story. I think it adds a whole other element to it. And if you have anything to say at the end, please feel free to do so before we call it a night.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you doing this. Like we talked a lot privately. This is not a regular thing, not a common thing for me, but I'm really glad that we did it. And I really appreciate everybody that's shown up and supported, and I honestly blown away by how well like the CD's selling. Like it's great. I didn't expect it. Not because of lack of confidence or questioning myself.
Yep.
Just it's hard. It's really, really hard to get any kind of art. It's really, really hard to get it out there, and it's even harder to get to a place where you can even think about starting to make a living with it. So, to see the support that I have with this has just been incredible. And I want to say one more time too, for anybody that's joined later in the stream, I apologize if I seem tired. I'm tired. I'm getting up in about 3 hours to start my day again. So I'm tired, but I am not. It is not due to lack of enthusiasm or gratitude or appreciation. I am all of those things. I promise you that. Yeah, I guess I don't know. All I really hope, I get a lot of, and I understand where it comes from, but like the adoration and stuff, like I appreciate it and I'm grateful. But all I really hope is that by being so transparent like I am, is just that it resonates with people, and maybe someone somewhere who never is gonna deal with a thing, they hear this and they decide, "You know what? I need to deal with this fucking thing," and they go and they deal with it, and it betters their life. You know, if that's all that I could hope for out of it. I think there's so much bullshit in the world in front of us all the time. I'm just gonna be me and just tell people who I am and where I come from and what's happened to me and where I'm going and what I wanna do and what my plans are, and it's all there for you to like it or not like it, and one way or another, I accept what I am and who I am, and I don't need anyone else's approval for it.
Yep.
So, that's where I
100%.
am.
That's who you are. 100%. That's what makes you Wolf 7. Thank you very much again, brother. And thank you to everyone for being here. This was the first time I was doing something like this, so I was obviously a bit nervous with everything working fine. But, you know, with people like yourself, with me, I mean, you guys make every difficult thing easy. Shout out to all of you. Thank you, Wolf brother, and hope to work with you on a song someday.
Hell yeah.
You know, that'll be awesome. And have a great night, everyone. And see you on the Thursday night stream. Let's go.
All
Keep
right.
rocking. Take care, brother. Have a good
Good
one.
night, everybody. Thank you, guys.